Indie video games have a reputation for being inventive and or thought-provoking. Going up against countless AAA games and their well-established developers, indie companies must find a way to stand out from the crowd. Because of their independence and freedom to develop, indie games take risks on experimental gameplay and storytelling, exploring the medium in innovative ways that produce unique gaming experiences. Gris, a platform adventure game, is one of these hidden gems. Developed by Nomada Studio and published by Devolver Digital in 2018, Gris takes players on a journey of grief and healing. The game includes a mix of beautiful and harrowing art, music, and gameplay mechanics to carefully craft a narrative without the use of a single word. One of Gris's best features is its storytelling through the use of the body. From pixels to text, articulations of the body in digital landscapes and imagined spaces, an article written by Dorothy R. Santos explores the use of games as a medium to address social change, specifically through the symbolic role of women's bodies. Relying on one's own body through the stages of the game, Gris teaches players the importance of finding a light in the darkness of loss. The game begins with our protagonist, Gris. She wakes up in the palm of a crumbling statue of a woman. The opening scene is filled with vibrant colors, and as she sings, all is peaceful. That is, until she quickly becomes choked up and the ground beneath her begins to shatter. Unable to escape, she simply accepts her fate and falls. The 5 stages of the game reflect the Kubler-Ross model of grief: gray for denial, red for anger, green for bargaining, blue for depression, and yellow for acceptance. After landing, Gris finds herself alone, sitting in a gray, barren land, defeated. All the previous joy from the music and colors are now gone. Here we find ourselves in the first stage, denial. Not knowing where to go or what else to do, Gris begins to walk. She discovers a number of structures powered by points of light resembling stars. Gris can collect these lights to gain new abilities, new forms for her dress to take. She can also use these lights to form platforms to get to the next stage. The desert represents the second stage of grief, anger, where everything is painted red. Crimson structures dominate the screen and is sharply contrasted against the white backdrop. Here Gris encounters sandstorms that repeatedly wash the screen in dark maroon. It will knock Gris back unless she finds shelter, or if she uses her ability to face the storm. This resembles fits of blinding rage, when an individual recognizes that denial cannot continue and becomes frustrated with their circumstances. Throughout the stage, Gris must utilize the cube mechanic to solve puzzles by anchoring herself down and destroying a number of obstacles. She finds herself at the bottom of this reflective pit, where she is met by a dark reflection of herself, foreshadowing a greater danger to come. Once Gris finds the crumpled statue again, the third stage, bargaining, begins. The fourth stage is lush with greenery and wildlife, where Gris encounters this forest creature. Though cautious at first, it quickly warms up to Gris when she feeds it some apples. The bargaining stage of grief is characterized by a need to strike a deal, in order to undo the feelings of loss. In this stage, the two solve puzzles together, and as she guides the creature back home to its family, it will reward her with the star you need to move on. It's a touching moment, but as players progress, you will notice that green isn't the only color within the stage. The red, or the anger from the previous stage, pervades throughout the scenery. It's in the trees, it's in the air, its presence lays quietly in the background. The game doesn't abandon the colors from the previous sections when you move on, because in real life, when you move on to another stage of grief, the emotions you have carry over. It doesn't just go away. This concept is present throughout all levels, and as these emotions accumulate, she is met with an unwelcome guest. Released from her tantrum from before, the dark shadowy figure takes on different forms to stand in her way. At first, it's a bird that knocks her around. and the only way she can fight off the creature is by using a bell. Music is Gris's coping mechanism. It helps to numb the pain. After this encounter, Gris finds the statue again. Lost on what to do next, she cries and draws forth a cascade of blue. Depression. During this stage, Gris gains a new ability to swim underwater. We explore serene imagery where the mix of colors is washed out by the dominant blue, and much like depression, the sorrow drowns everything out and makes it hard to escape. When she makes it to the statue again, we enter the last stage, acceptance. Only this time, the new color is nowhere to be seen. The creature emerges from the shadows and shatters the statue into pieces. It takes the form of an eel and desperately attempts to swallow Gris. Eels symbolize the link between beginning and end, between life and death, which is why the only way Gris can escape is with the aid of a turtle. Symbolizing resilience and perseverance, she musters her strength and finally makes it out of the depths of the caverns. Initially, the yellow in the stage starts off sparse. They are little glimmers of hope that slowly build up in number as she navigates her way through the upside-down city. Gris offers a realistic perspective on the 5th stage. Acceptance is not a sudden moment where everything becomes better. It is a process that involves slowly finding your way back to normal. Gris must manage her emotions and lessons learned along the way in order to find that peace again. For the first time, we see all the colors working together, complementing each other for Gris's well-being. Eventually, she earns back the ability to sing. Her voice inspires life, calling flowers to sprout and machines to awaken to help her. Her world turns around, and as she falls, this time, acceptance has truly arrived. However, even though things have returned to normal, dark thoughts still linger. The final form of the creature is herself. Coming face to face with a shadowy version of herself, she realizes that she can no longer run. Instead, she must confront her reality straight on. As she is enveloped by this darkness, she meets the statue of the woman for the last time. She sings, and though the darkness attempts to retake her, Gris continues to sing. She is finally ready to move on. The statue sings back, bringing forth a world full of color. She kisses her farewell and climbs into the stars, carrying her love with her. Nomada Studio thoughtfully uses an ambiguous premise for the purpose of providing an individual gaming experience for every player. Though the stages of grief don't always go in order and can be a messy process, Gris does an immaculate job portraying it in an explorable way. Though it is a simple game in concept, it utilizes each mechanic and visual element and applies it to the max, opening up a space for complex social and cultural commentary. The reliance of the body within Gris exemplifies resilience, suggesting to players that they too have the same strength as Gris. The square, representing stability, allows Gris to work through her anger. The wings, representing freedom, allows her to bargain and reach out for help. The triangle, the sturdiest shape, grants Gris the strength to cope with her depression. And finally, her voice serves as a coping mechanism in which she finds comfort in singing. As Santo suggests, our bodies are indicative of personal and cultural identity. They are capable of overcoming great lengths, and through the metaphor of gameplay, we learn how the subjectivity of womanhood may best be confronted.